Hi everyone, my name is Tal Badit and I'm co-director of Alma School for Humanity, a school for the human spirit based on the laws of creation. Co-director with me is Nirit Ishaya. She can't be here today, but the person who is with me today is Chagit Ravi, founder of the Alma schools around the world. Hi Chagit.
Hello, Tal.
How are you?
Great. The third podcast in English.
Yes. All right, so the first time I came across one of your lectures was actually during the COVID pandemic several years ago. And we were going through a very turbulent time, okay? There was a lot of fear and uncertainty. And amongst all these things, I came across your lecture. It was part of the free lecture series. It's called A New Human Being, A New World.
Yeah.
And I remember that the special thing, that you offered was just a higher perspective on everything that's happening. And you basically said this is actually an opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so nowadays, we're also experiencing a lot of instability, be it wars or natural catastrophes. And so I'd like to get your view on it. How is everything that's seemingly bad that is happening is actually beneficial for us?
Okay, well, it depends to whom. You know that we are speaking in Alma about three types of consciousness that we have as human beings. We have intellectual consciousness, emotional consciousness, and spiritual consciousness. But we should have had only one consciousness, which is spiritual.
Yeah.
I will speak about it later. So for the intellect and for the emotions, or for all what is material, our material part, everything that is going on right now is very bad. But for our spirit is an opportunity to free itself. And we must look at this time, from a higher perspective. And from a higher perspective, we are in the days of the final judgment. All the prophecies speak about this time. So it sounds like a very frightened name, the days of the final judgment. But again, to whom? Mm-hmm. To the intellect and the emotion, yes. For the spirit, no. So what is the special thing about this time? So we are spirit, incarnated in body, came here to planet Earth in order to evolve, to develop, to become consciousness through all the experiences of life or reincarnation. And now we have about 900 years, which is nothing with comparison for all the existence of this planet, to finish school, to graduate. And the time of final judgment is characterized by a lot of pressure from the light, which make the whole earth like a green plant.
A greenhouse,
right?
A
greenhouse,
so,
yes, a greenhouse. Well, English is not my original. I speak a little bit German, Spanish, and English.
You're multinational.
Yes. Please forgive me for the mistakes, but you will correct me. And everything is pushed now to the closure of the cycles, closure of the karma of each spirit. Okay, so what is the good thing about it? That everything is accelerated. The bad things, the dark, we see that everything is exposing himself. It's not nice to see this, but it's what we as humanity have sown. So now we have to ripe this. But also the good things, the light things, are receiving a lot of power to blossom.
Yeah.
And you know that one of the best examples for this is our school, because it was established 3 years ago in Israel, and we already have a school in Africa, in Nigeria. We are going to open another one in Portugal in October. We have another one in March in Beverly Hills, and there is a lot of activity going on in a time that's, from the intellectual perspective, it is impossible. So it's an opportunity for us to look at what is really important in life. Let our spirit go. Let our spirit be free from the jailers, which are the intellect and the emotions, and fulfill what is our mission here in life.
Yeah. So basically you're saying that with everything becoming so intensified, okay, we have basically limited amount of time to figure out that we have a purpose here. We're not just here to eat, drink, be merry, and die, right? So where is this all going to?
Well, this mistake started a long time ago when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of the knowledge, which actually is a code. It's not a history, real
Yeah.
history. And this code means that instead of the intellect and emotions be the servants of the spirit or helpers, for her journey in the world of matter, they become jailers. It means that we are some kind of mutation. We have not connection with our core, which is the spirit, and we have only the intellect and the emotion that they say that they are the boss. And these two helpers have only a material perspective. They cannot grasp what is spirit, what is beyond, what is reincarnation, what is the purpose of life, because you cannot blame them. They just cannot, because they are material. Fine matter, but they are matter.
Yeah.
So as long as we look at life, or the definition of life, with these two jailers, of course that everything that is happening right now is horrible.
Yeah.
But because the intellect and the emotions cannot any longer explain what is going on, they have no way to describe it. Either they get crazy, or they are despair, and we see people all over the world in this state.
Yes.
And this is exactly the moment when the spirit have a chance to set herself free. I can compare this to a person who's was healthy, and everything was going well in his life, and he never wanted to listen to this little voice, the intuition. That is the voice of the spirit. Sometimes we can hear this voice, but normally we shut this voice down very quickly, because we are very busy in the matrix. And then this person became sick with a severe disease like cancer. And you can see, and I know from the example of my father, that things that I wanted to speak with him his whole life, like 30 years, he didn't want to hear anything. And through the hardship of the disease, the intellect, the emotion, they could not any longer explain. His spirit set herself free.
Yeah.
So when you take and look at this time, this special time that we are here, and think about graduation of the spirit, or first of all, let the spirit go, and afterwards we're going to speak about his name, you understand we have a huge chance to really live. And you know, and I know that this is the time, our most beautiful, meaningful time in our life, with all the
For
difficulties, but it is like living with intensity and with power and with meaning.
Exactly.
And set our spirit free.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we feel it ourselves, right? Everyone at Alma School, everyone's working in the teams. But tell me, how does this new period that we're just only at the very beginning of it, how does it help us become a new human being? And what are we supposed to do, right, with the newfound awareness that you're talking also about in the new course, Let My Spirit Go?
Said before, we're supposed to liberate ourselves from the jailers. Only then we are going to be true human beings, because we were not supposed to have 3 types of consciousness. I don't know, we had a podcast in Hebrew, so I don't know if I spoke about it in English.
No, you haven't.
You haven't. Okay, so because of what happened with Adam and Eve, so we actually have today 3 consciousness. People are speaking a lot about developing the consciousness. I have consciousness, but usually people have intellectual consciousness and emotional consciousness, and a little bit spiritual consciousness. So what should be right now is that we are going to lose the intellectual and emotional consciousness, because actually we should not have this consciousness. These are only tools, and have only spiritual consciousness. So if you want to understand what is the difference between consciousness and a tool, I give the example of the AI.
Yeah.
The AI is a tool, could be a great tool. But the problem with this tool, that it starts to develop his own life, independent life from the human being, and he's doing what he wants.
Yeah.
So this is actually what is happening in our inner world.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're going to do in the new course,
Exactly.
Let My Spirit Go. We are going to listen, or to learn how to listen to these three voices,
Mm-hmm.
and to shut down the intellect and the emotion as consciousness, and bring them again to be only tool, only something that is on the service of the spirit.
Yeah.
So if, for example, my spirit is very developed and I have like a project or a mission,
Mm-hmm.
and this intuition arises in me, and I know what is the thing that I have to do, then I need the help of my emotion, my soul body, to give me a very delicate feeling
Mm-hmm.
of what it is this intuition is all about. Because
Yeah.
the spirit is not of matter, so it needs different bodies in order to communicate. And then the intellect will take the vision
Mm-hmm.
and bring it into realization. And for example, you know Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So, and his famous I have a dream.
Yes.
So I have a dream, not like I have a dream to have a Lamborghini. I have a dream as the vision comes from the spirit. Okay? And it emerges from the spirit. But then you have to have an intellect that can take this and make it into a plan.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King did not say, I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Plan is what I have to do.
Yeah, it's execution, right?
Yeah. And the same goes like, I don't know, how to choose a partner.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose him out of your emotions, you will always have problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because, emotions are not stable. One day you love somebody, the other day you hate, and then you go to therapy and try to resolve the problem that actually, a therapist works with emotion without knowing that actually the emotion are the root cause of all the problem.
Exactly.
Or you choose, there are some people who do also this, choose a partner
Mhm.
from the intellect. They go to a date and they have a checklist. Okay, he's rich. Okay, I take him. Of course, also this will bring you problems. That
Mhm.
no psychologist can help you with this. But if you start listening to your spirit and you're going on a date, so you know
Yeah.
which is the right person for you to grow in harmony forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because the spirit, or the voice of the spirit, the intuition, is never, ever mistaken.
Yeah.
When people said, no, I listened to my emotion and now I must listen to my intellect. Emotion and the intellect are material, are matter, has nothing to do with the intuition. And this is the new human being we are.
Yeah.
We have to be
Yeah.
before we can build a new world.
Yeah. But a lot of people, they do confuse the two because people look at us as emotional beings, right? That's what makes us human.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a spiritual human being? Does it mean that I'm like meditating and taking consciousness altering substances and whatnot and seeking a higher knowledge through that?
No, it's not. It's not about smoking or in a bonfire playing with the guitar. I mean, you can play with the guitar, but it's something to do with it. It's discover who you really are. And when you have spiritual consciousness, you actually also, your definition to life is absolutely different. You know you're eternal. You know that life here on earth is only a school for development. So imagine all the planet, this is a huge vision,
Mm-hmm.
all the planet, all people know that they are here only for experience, and this is not the goal of life, to have material things.
Yeah.
It's only a tool. So you will not have war. Why do we have war? Why do we step on each other?
Yeah.
Because we think that life is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? I don't know if in English you have this, you live only once.
Yeah, of course.
You live only once come from intellectual and emotional consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are you have spiritual consciousness, or the way you look at life, your choices in life is absolutely different. You also have no fear and no worry, which is very, very important.
That, I think most people will just sign on to that as soon as possible.
Yeah, because fear and worry, if you think about it, why do we have fear and worry?
Mm-hmm.
They are always come because of something material. Always.
Yeah.
Or that we are going to get sick, or our loved one becomes sick, or we don't have money, or we get killed. All the fears or worries has to do with the matter. But when you know you are not this body, nobody can touch, nobody can do anything to your spirit.
Yeah.
You know your life here is not end when you just take this cover. This is a cover.
Yeah.
We have different covers. It's like taking the shirt. It's old, and then you change it.
Yeah.
But of course, what I'm saying now, the intellect and emotion cannot understand. They cannot, because they are bound to space and time. If you say to the intellect asks, okay, prove me that God exists. You cannot prove, because in order to have to know that God exists, not to have faith, just know, to have a conviction, you must have other tools. You cannot, for example, take water with a strain.
Yeah.
It's not the correct instrument. So the intellect cannot grasp what is beyond the five senses.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you have fear and worries.
Yeah, it's the plague of modern
Yes,
time.
but when you have spiritual consciousness, you're living differently, and your choices in life
Yeah.
and the way you define life is absolutely different. And this is what we are going to do in this new course that we are launching in September.
Launching soon, September 14th.
So September 14th in English,
is the
yes.
debut, in English.
Yes.
It'll be available in multiple languages down the road.
Yes.
And it's really revolutionizing the way we look at things, including in particular the whole approach to therapy and all kinds of emotional support, that we're addicts. We're all addicts to our emotions. So it gives a whole new perspective on things. Yeah.
Well, this is the picture I gave you. I mean, the spirit should have been let's say the real queen, and then come our emotional part that we are going to, in the course I explain all these bodies that are intermediate between our spirit and the body. And the emotional body, or the soul body, come and said, I am the boss, I am the queen.
Yeah.
And this is why all therapists or everybody is speaking about emotions. We are actually addicted to emotion. And who else are addressing to emotions? All the leaders of the Matrix.
Yes.
They manipulate people through emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, what they have done in the corona pandemic. Yes, they just with fear, anger, and people are doing what they want without even, from their own free will. You don't have to force them; they're just doing it.
Yeah.
So I think this is also in our days, if the Book of Revelation, that describes what is happening in our time, the days of the last judgment. He speaks about the beast, which is the intellect. All people looking for the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And they look for a person. Maybe it's Putin, maybe it's Stalin. The Antichrist is Lucifer with the intellect. He bound the humanity to the world of matter. And this is what we have to get rid of, this prison. This is what we call in the course the inner matrix.
Yeah.
The inner matrix is much more sophisticated to get rid of than the external matrix. You go to manifestation, you say, no, the government, but inside you are in a jail.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are governed by these two jailers, and it's time to
release.
Yeah. And
Of
this
course.
is why the course name is Let My Spirit Go. It comes from Moses. He said to Pharaoh, let my people go. And all the story of Exodus is, which actually is also a code. It's not only historical.
Exodus, for people who are not familiar with this, Exodus from Egypt, right? And the biblical story.
Yes. It's a history, but it's also a metaphor for the inner world of a human being. And or maybe our audience, they don't know, but Moses took the people of Israel out of Egypt. Supposed to be the finish, the finale of every problem. But now only starts the problem.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to take the people from Egypt, but it's not easy to take Egypt from the people.
Yeah.
Because Egypt is the internal jail, the internal matrix.
Yes.
And as long as we only believe that matter defines us, we cannot build the new world.
Yeah.
Because the new world will be built by people who are new.
Yeah.
New human being whose spirit is leading.
Yeah, spiritual consciousness
Yeah.
versus our old slave mentality, basically.
Yeah.
So basically, this whole period is evidence of basically God's love for us, because it's a true opportunity for us to finally get rid of the two jailers.
Mhm. Yes, I mean, many people are asking themselves, where is God?
Mm-hmm.
So many horrible things like wars and natural catastrophes
Mhm.
and corruption and illness, unhappiness in
Mhm.
general. So where is God? So there's one group who say God not exists,
Yeah.
because if the world is like this, God cannot be exist.
Yeah.
And the other group says, okay, we wait and we pray, and He will send the messiahs, whether are Jews, whether are a Christian. He help us. He will come and save us. But what they don't understand is how God is working in creation.
Mhm.
And actually, two things. God does not operate in creation personally. Yeah?
Yeah.
He's operating creation through His will, which are His laws. The laws of creation, which He put in creation from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing, that the power of God, which is the power of love. Yes, God is love.
Yes.
And of course, when people say, well, it's all about love, absolutely, it's all about love. But what is love? Love, or divine love, is not addresses to what is comfortable to me,
Yeah.
comfortable to my jailers,
Mhm.
comfortable to my body, what is fun, what
Yeah.
is,
Pampering
cozy,
you.
pampering, yes.
Yes.
Like we think about romantic love. If he
Mhm.
loves me, he brings me flowers, he gives me more. It's not what it's pleasant for
Mhm.
my body, for my material consciousness. It's about what benefits my spirit.
Yeah.
When you understand this, and you understand that humanity declined so much,
Yeah.
we almost lost the connection with our spirit. I mean, many people have a dead spirit.
Yeah.
And they cannot pass the judgment. So we decline so much that God's love is to help our spirit
Mm-hmm.
to be free again and to evolve.
Yeah.
And if you choose this path, and you said, okay, what is important right now? And the spirit is stretching her hand to the help,
Mm-hmm.
coming mostly by messengers who bring the word of God. So then all this time, become like the most beautiful, important, significant time in your whole existence, not only in your in your life.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. And I think everyone in all of Alma schools around the world, we feel the same, right?
Yeah.
The most meaningful, not easy, for sure.
Yeah.
Not easy, not
Mhm.
comfortable,
Mhm.
but meaningful and happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and fruitful for all of us. All right. Well, thank you very much, Hagit. We really can't wait for the launch of the new course, Let My Spirit Go, training the spirit in everyday life. And
In daily
it'll-
life, because it's not
Yes.
a theoretical
No.
course.
Yes.
It's really speaking about spirituality in life themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the real innovation here, right? It's not disconnected from us. We get to practice from the moment we wake up
Yes.
until the time that we lay our head on the pillow.
We are spirit, 24 hours, forever.
Very true. All right. Thank you very much for this. And if you're looking for more content, learn more, and get more lectures, videos, please check us out at almaschool.org or on social media. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Hagi.
Yes, the new course.
Yes.
Thank you, Tal.